Okay, hi. I believe we are live now in DSG. Welcome everyone to our DSG webinar series. And thanks to our guest today, who is Nolita Colio. Hi, Nolita. How are you?
Hi, Anita. I'm good. Looking forward to this.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. We've been talking about our Pubsure quite some time now. I mean, I've been sharing some information, in the SG, and I do know several of my, if it's not the most, but several of our members are so excited to know what this is all about, right? Because being academician, our work
Yep.
definitely involves journal publication, right? And
Yeah.
without further ado, I would like to invite Nolita to come and share your screen, and then let's talk
Yeah.
about what our Pubsure can do. Can help us when we want to publish our manuscripts. Okay, go ahead and share your screen.
Great. Thanks so much, Anita. And I'll take over from here and jump straight in. Just give me a second. Yeah. If you can just confirm that you can see my window.
Yep. Okay, there you go. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Great. Thanks, everyone, for those of you who've taken time out to join us today. I'm Nolita. I'm a product director here at Cactus Communications for our arm of researcher-focused products under researcher.live. Today, we'll talk and look at what Pubsure and how Pubsure can really help with journal publishing. And, we'll kind of get straight into it. So most authors, as we know, encounter rejection at some point. There have been studies around this, and depending on the subject area and the journal and the popularity, it can range at 21% to 80%. And often, what we've seen, this happens for reasons that can be very easily avoided. Sometimes it's not an outright rejection. You even have your paper sent back where the editor will ask you to revise and then resubmit, and this just adds a lot of time and back and forth and effort that can be avoided, both at the author's end and the journal end. So, kind of really on the back of all of these, we studied it in depth, had conversations with journal editors, researchers, and that's what really gave life to Pubsure. So the session really is about how you can save time and avoid desk rejection to really, meet those publication goals that you have, and hopefully, kind of reduce those number of review and resubmit requests as well. So let's jump straight into it. What is our Pubsure? So our Pubsure is completely an AI-driven manuscript assessment tool. So it does not really involve human intervention. These are, proprietary, features that we've built, or we've actually partnered with the best in the industry out there to bring a manuscript assessment and journal publishing solution to authors. It really, kind of simplifies and removes the stress from having to cross-check every hygiene factor. So, are my references right? Typos? Have I included the right kind of declarations around funders, etc.? What it also does, interestingly, is it flags aspects that could be problematic when screened by the journal. So today, given the increasing volume of journal submissions, manuscript submissions, journal editors are also using software to screen manuscripts. And there are some red flags that typically come up through that software. Sometimes they're false positives, but the idea is that can you address them proactively even when sending out your paper to the journal? And because of all of this, it really helps speed up meeting that goal of getting published. So what I'll do next is I'll sort of dive straight into the product and give you a quick walkthrough. I believe we'll have about another 15 minutes to do that. And then, of course, I'd be happy to hear any questions you have. And, we'll do some follow-up detailed videos around questions that may come up. So treat this as, mostly an overview of what the tool can do. So you need to first go to pubsure.researcher.live. And I'm going to switch screens here. I've got the windows open. I must apologize. There's a lot on my screen. Anita, are you seeing the website now?
Yes, I can see it. Yes, very clearly. Go ahead.
Great. Great. So if you've been, a few of those who've been tinkering around with the product before, you may already have an account, so you can sign in. If you're completely new to Pubsure, you can read about, how it works, and you can click on register for free. It's a very simple process. You just enter your email, or if you have an ORCID ID, of course, you could use that. Then you need to enter your name and you're done. In the interest of time, I've already logged in and I've got a few accounts set up. So let me jump to that. You should be seeing my Pubsure dashboard now, Anita. Is that okay?
Yes, I can see that. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what I've done here is I've already uploaded a few manuscripts and generated a few reports so that we can move through the demo. But once you get into the dashboard, there's a button here that says upload a manuscript, and you can upload your work in progress file. And there are some instructions around here. And then once you've uploaded the file, it typically takes between 2 to 5 minutes to get you a report. Once the tool has evaluated, the file, you'd see a card like this. The first thing is, of course, a score. It tells you how ready is this paper to submit. So now the first time I uploaded this paper, in fact, I had a much lower score. So we'll go into the older one to really understand what was wrong with the paper. So of course, after the score, if you scroll down, the report breaks up into 5 parts. We'll go bit by bit into each one of these so that you kind of get a flavor of what is an offer. So in language quality, we do 2 things. So one is we screen the manuscript and we identify errors. So what could be wrong, especially around grammar, just English language is, quite complex, vocabulary. There could be writing errors or just readability. Can it be improved? And then the second part of what we do is we even suggest, how these can be fixed. So if you scroll further down, you can see that, each of these tells you how you can fix it. So let's take one example. In this particular sentence, there's a better way of saying this rather than the approach has widely been widely is, a more suitable way of, phrasing the sentence. Now, of course, there could be many such errors within the document. As you can see, 120 issues. So what we also have is a pretty nifty feature called the edited Word file. So this is like you're good to go. You download this Word file, and what it beautifully does is, as this opens up, if you can see the Word document now, this is a dummy paper, so ignore it. But what it does is it actually incorporates those changes that we suggested directly into the document. So all you need to do is you click on the Review tab within Word, and then of course under Track Changes, you can enable the reviewing pane, so you see all of these. And then you start with the first one, and then if you feel it's right, you accept it. So the emergence of drug resistant, this looks right, this looks right, this looks right, and hence, yep, this looks right.
Very easily, we can, sorry,
Yeah,
Nalita, very easily we can actually edit the paper. Wow, that's very
exactly.
interesting.
So yeah, so if you saw, right, just in a few seconds, sorry, I just went straight into it. I could very quickly accept and reject, right? All I have to do is the click of a button. So it really speeds up the process of, those kind of oversights in the language, which, sometimes after you've really put the paper together, you're so tired, to have to reread it again and identify these in your own becomes very burdensome process. So that's what we call the edited Word file. And, a lot of our users love that. So that's how it works. I'll jump into the next section really quickly. It's called technical checks, meaning the way that I like to position this to talk about it is I call it the best practices. So as you know that, if you read the journal guidelines before submitting, journals have different requirements that you need to meet. A lot of these have very sound reasoning as to why they ask for it. And what we've tried to do is many of these we've automated in terms of checking within your paper. So these are like, the best practices that journals typically follow. I'll just talk about one best practice that's been flagged as an issue in this paper. And then, of course, you can go into each of these, and the tool itself explains what it is. So data access statements, or data availability statements, as you might know it, is an emerging requirement for many prestigious and leading journals. So as you know, transparency and the ability to reproduce, a particular research is hallmark of good sound research and good papers. So what this means is that in all of your papers that you submit, there is a requirement to indicate, how can the reader actually access the data set used in your research, or even a sample data set that they can use if they wanted to reproduce the study. Some journals even mandate that even if this is not applicable to your field of study or to your paper, you should have a statement indicating that. So in this paper, for example, there was no data access statement found. Now, of course, it is up to you to read the advisory and figure out, is it really applicable to my paper? And then actually go ahead and include the statement as needed. So this is the way, and there are about 12 of them that we flag off different issues that might become reason for concern at the journal desk. So I'll move on to another paper that I ran and talk about some of the other features. So I believe many of the people in DSG are already familiar with Scholasy, Anita. I know that authors are
Yep.
already using it. Yeah. So what we've done is we've even integrated. So part of the vision of Pubsure and Researcher.life is today as an author you need to use so many different software, so many different tools, or actually check in with peers to do 10 different things, right? So part of our vision is also bringing everything together in a more seamless way to authors. So this is a feature we've kind of integrated with Scholasy. And what they do for us is the paper that you uploaded onto Pubsure. We run through their algorithms, and they extract the keywords from your paper. Now, again, at the time of submitting to journals, some journal editors request you to submit a set of keywords within your paper, and you could look at these and see if any of these are relevant and need to be included if they haven't already. The other bit, of course, that we know that Scholasy does really well is its summarization engine. So its ability to really understand what's in your paper and then create these shorter summaries. So there are three kinds of summaries that we have here. This is a really short, almost 140 word kind of a summary. This is, the highlights of the paper and a structured summary that you can see here. Now, as an author, you're wondering, where do I really use those? Well, at journal publication, one really good starting point is writing a cover letter to the editor at the time of submission. Now, part of that cover letter is talking about your research and saying, these are the key highlights of my study, and this is why I feel it's the right fit for your journal and it's important to be published. And you could use, the highlights and the structured summaries from here to very easily communicate that or, build on top of it. So that's how we see some of our users at Pubsure actually making use of this feature. Then, of course, moving into a very, very interesting space. And this is, one of the newer spaces that Pubsure has sort of really gotten into. And a lot of changes expected here in the coming months and years, of course, is journal recommendations. I was fascinated, there are about 30,000 plus journals and so many journal finders out there. But when I had conversations with a lot of researchers, they still find the process of identifying the best journal to be very cumbersome and difficult one. And that's a problem that we're really trying to solve. So the first step that we started on is we looked at why are papers rejected by journals. And what we saw in many cases is because simply the scope, that is what the paper talked about, wasn't a match for what the journal published. And this, of course, is always evolving. So if you look at this paper, some of the key concepts that this paper covers are what you see over here. Now, what we've done is we've matched this to our database of about 50 million papers. We've identified, the more recent papers and which are the journals that they were published in, and we arrive at a, kind of a scope match. And we take that scope match, and then we kind of identify those journals and provide those as possibilities where you can publish. What we even do is, we even show you similar papers to your own paper from that particular journal, which you can check out. Sorry about that, which you can check out. So you can actually, click on any one of these, and you can go in, read these papers, and say, hey, you know what? This particular journal actually is, very suitable or suited for my research paper. So that's how we're really, starting to solve the journal recommendations problem. And as I said, expect a lot more over here. The last bit, of course, is, as I said, under the mandate of bringing multiple tools into one place, we've partnered with Turnitin, which is, the producers of Authenticate reports, plagiarism reports. And directly within Pubsure, you can also get a plagiarism report with the similarity percentage right up front. So here, of course, we'll indicate, so this is a published paper that I ran, so it's a very, very high percentage. But typically, you're aiming to not more than a 12 to 15% similarity percentage when submitting to a journal. Of course, you need to check the journal guidelines to see what that cutoff is like. But if you look at this particular paper, you can simply click on, the highlighted text and see, where the tool thinks it's been plagiarized from. This will allow you again to rework sections of your paper that might be, okay, sorry about this. Yeah, that might be problematic when you actually get into, journal submission. So to summarize, we have language quality, technical checks, keywords and summaries, journal recommendations, and plagiarism. Now, the next question that you might have in your mind is, how does this work? What's free? What's paid? And I'll just quickly run you through how it works. So we have a light version of the report, which is completely free to use. And we have a pro version of the report, that starts at $49. And how does it work? Technical checks that we saw are completely free. The keywords and summaries from Scholarly are also completely free. Journal recommendations, free in both versions. Now, when it comes into language, there were two parts that I talked about: the part that identifies the errors, the issues, and recommendations how to correct them. So the summary of, the number of issues and the kinds of issues that we've identified, along with some sample error corrections, is what is available in the light version. If you need all of the error corrections, how do I fix all of the errors that have been identified, and the edited Word file, right, that you saw, that comes in the pro version of Pubsure. Additionally, the plagiarism report that I talked about, because this again comes in from a third-party service, is part of our paid version. And if you look at the paid version, again, depending on, let me select, a simpler currency, depending on, what really are your publication goals or how much you're looking to publish, we have three plans. So we have a one manuscript plan, which means that you can, have your paper upgraded to pro at $49. We have a 3 manuscript plan, or we have a limited time plan that's an offer, which is 1 year unlimited manuscripts. But this again is a personal use plan. So if you're co-author on the paper or you're author on the paper, then this works for you. One last point that I'll highlight, which is, a difference between what Pubsure does, is that if you purchase a 1 manuscript plan, now, of course, the practice of writing a paper, and then, of course, once you submit to the journal, you may get rejected and you might want to submit to another journal. So it's very iterative. But if you purchase a $49 plan, then any revisions to that same paper are considered under the $49. So you don't need to purchase it again. So you get unlimited reports for that same paper within this price. So that's how it works. I'll pause here and stop sharing, and I'll hand
Thank
over to
you.
Anita.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Monica. Can we go back to the plan actually? Because I want to highlight,
Okay.
because many of the members are considering the 3 manuscript plans because in order to graduate, normally they have to publish at least 2. Yeah, 2
Okay.
papers.
Yeah.
So I am thinking that obviously it's good if you are starting as a new novice publish, to publish. You can take the USD 49. However, in the long run, I think the USD 99 for 3 manuscripts is more useful, I would say, for those who are graduating. So thank you so much,
I agree.
Nolita. I think the most important or the most useful feature is actually the journal recommendation. I think that is something that people are looking for, yeah, because I am a novice researcher myself. I haven't published that much, but when you want to
Okay.
publish, you don't really know which journal is suitable, in your area, right?
Correct.
So yeah,
Correct.
so thank you so much. And I don't believe we have any questions right now. However, okay, I'm just gonna
Okay.
add the screen again. The plan. So if you can see, the 1 manuscript plan is USD 49, 3 manuscript plan is $99, and a 1-year unlimited manuscript with same or similar author. Would you say? The key author
Co-author.
must
Yeah.
be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 199. This I believe would be more suitable for supervisors who would like to
Yeah.
publish with their students, I believe. Yeah. So
Yes.
I will publish this in the SG, and we will then start sharing all the other information about our Pubsure, the one that I found in YouTube channel. And I think it's a very interesting tool when you want to publish and you don't know what happened. And this is the common problem among us, right? Among academicians, yeah, and especially if you are PhD students and you want to publish and you don't know
Right.
what to do. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Nolita, for your time today. I really hope we can
Okay.
have the next session if members request it, and I look
Yeah.
forward to working with your team. Yeah, to highlight many of other software or other apps as well from Cactus Communication. So let's keep
Yes.
in touch. Yeah, let's keep
Yes.
in touch,
Yes.
and we'll see what we can do together. Thank
Sounds
you.
great. It's been great being here. Thanks so much, Anita.
No problem at all. Thank you so much, Nolita. So bye for now.
Okay. Bye bye.
We'll
Bye bye.
connect again in email. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Great here. Bye bye.